Hello everybody, and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope you're doing well, and today we'll be doing a bit of movie news because John Wick 4 has added on a new actor, and I think it's actually a lot of things to be excited about for the upcoming John Wick 4. But before going any further, please be sure to smash the like button, light up the fire button if you're watching over on Odyssey, and hit subscribe as it does help out a lot. Now, I do plan to do a movie review for Akira. That will be live on the Odyssey channel earlier than on the YouTube channel, since obviously YouTube's algorithm sucks, so I'll schedule that one to go live a little bit later. But if you want to see my thoughts on the new film that I've seen, rather, obviously it's not a new film itself, but the new review for Ikiru by Akira Kurosawa, that indeed will be live earlier over on Minds.com and also on Odyssey, and it'll be scheduled to be posted later. But let's go into this pretty cool news, which is that John Wick 4 with Keanu Reeves has added Donnie Yen to be cast as a friend of the titular character of John Wick. Now, I actually think this is both good and bad news, and let me start off with the bad news first. The issue that it comes down to with Donnie Yen is that he has taken part in the past, and I believe still continues to do so, with Chinese propaganda. Now, as you all know, I am very vocally against the Chinese Communist Party. I call them out at every turn. I call out Disney at every turn because of their relations, and I call out other studios as well with their involvement with the Chinese Communist Party, especially as they continue to kill innocent people and they continue to try and wipe out an entire minority population with the Uyghur Muslim concentration camps, etc. And Donnie Yen has portrayed characters and has indeed been supportive of the Communist Party in China through Chinese propaganda films. The most notable example of which is the Ip Man trilogy, or rather the Ip Man franchise, since they did make a couple other films after that. And even though, obviously, I think that those films are enjoyable from a martial arts perspective, obviously, I think Donnie Yen is a fantastic martial artist. It is something that I do want to point out because I do want to be consistent. It would not be fair for me to only call this out when Disney does something and not not when other companies or other studios or other movie franchises that I happen to be a fan of are doing something similar, or at the least are associating themselves with someone who has done this in the past. Now let's get into the good news, because Donnie Yen, even though, of course, he has those associations with the Ip Man franchise and with the Chinese propaganda campaigns, what we do see is Donnie Yen is an incredibly talented martial artist, and it's always really shown well on film. And to see that you will have John Wick, Keanu Reeves, on screen with Donnie Yen, and it says here being portrayed as a friend, I imagine that they might have a fight beforehand, because obviously John Wick, even amongst his friends, sometimes fights them beforehand or during the process. Either they'll be training together or they'll fight and then it'll end in a draw, and then they'll end up working together because of a misunderstanding that has now been resolved. And this is something I think any fan of the John Wick franchise should be excited for. I mean, John Wick 3, in my opinion, had some of the best action sequences of the entire franchise. The way that I typically break it down is that John Wick 1 had the best all-round story. It was the best all-round movie. John Wick 2 had the best lore, so the best story building, whereas John Wick 3, in my opinion, had some of the best action, especially that knife fight sequence, which still to this day blows my mind. But John Wick 4 obviously is going to have to raise the bar a bit, because there's going to be a lot of people, myself included, asking how long is this franchise going to go on for, and will we continue to see many areas of the film degrade? Because even though I do really like the fight sequences in John Wick 3, I do think that some of the story elements suffer. I do think that some of the really tight and really well done things done in the first John Wick film have been less so as every movie has come out. And so that is obviously a concern here. I think having Donnie Yen as a part of this movie, though, is something that is going to be a net positive because of his martial arts skills. And you're going to be able then to basically believe that the director here, Chad Stahelski, is going to continue to be able to bring forward a lot of fun action sequences, and a lot of them, I imagine, in this movie, hopefully, will be coming because of Donnie Yen. But just to go into this story, again, it was first reported by Deadline. This is now being reported over here by Daily News. or what is this called? Yeah, Daily Mail. Donnie Yen is set to join the John Wick 4 cast with Keanu Reeves. The 57-year-old actor will portray a friend of Reeves' Wick character with common enemies in the Lionsgate movie. The Chinese actor has been seen in the past in Mulan, which of course was garbage, and as I said before, we called out Disney with Mulan specifically because of the fact that they thank a company or a paramilitary group that was associated with and very close to one of the Uyghur concentration camps. And so there's obviously that issue. Rogue One, a Star Wars story, which was Disney's attempt again also to try and tap into that Chinese market as well. And also XXX, Return of Xander Cage. It says, we are very lucky to have Donnie Yen join the franchise. Director Chad Stahelski told the outlet, I'm looking forward to working with him in this exciting new role. So this is indeed something I think is worth being excited for. It says, last month, the casting of Japanese-British pop star Rina Sawayama was announced, as Stahelski called the entertainer, who is making her feature film debut, an incredible talent who will bring so much to the film. And obviously that does concern me a little bit because of the fact it seems to indicate that they are trying to obviously break into other markets or increase their presence in other markets, and having pop stars and big names like that show up, even if they are not necessarily trained actors or the best actors in the world. You know, you always have those roles thrown into some of these franchise movies where they're just kind of like a background character or whatever, and you can tell that they're not as really comfortable on screen as people who have been on the screen for a long time, like Keanu Reeves or Donnie Yen. But anyway, that is the news of the day. Donnie Yen joining the John Wick franchise. As I said, I think overall it's going to be a net positive. I definitely think there is a lot to be excited for there, and I cannot wait to see a fight scene between Keanu Reeves and Donnie Yen, and I really hope, even though they're friends, we do get that at some point. But what are your thoughts about this news? Let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, smash that like button, light up that fire button. It really does help a lot. You are amazing and beautiful people. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless. And now for a huge shout out to all of my June Patreon and Subscribestar members: Andrew Hoyle, Biffer the Hobbit, Brian P., Dion, Don Bruno de la Mancha, Enrique Evangelista, Father Christopher Miller, hail to you, Father, Father Damian Cook, Garrett Searles, Inflamed Wood, It's a Trap Productions, Jason Clark, Jacob Juice, Jeffrey Toone, Jonathan Carney, Laura, the Modern Major General's Story, Mike Jackson, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin with the beautiful hair, On to June, Orange Hat Reviews, Out of Step with Reality, Priscilla Hall, Riff Magos, Rosetta Allen, Teresa Martin, Theodore Bendon, and rather Teresa Martin is Miss Martin Muses now, Tina Bojan, Tina B., and Washington Madranda. Thank y'all very much for being my supporters on Patreon. And to my Subscribestar peeps, Fast Reaction, Nosferatu Gatsu, Stand For, John B., Perpetual Punster, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., Dean Heiss / The New Number 2, J. Rod the Beer Guru, Nevanon G. Adams, and ZK Man. Thank you all very much for being my Subscribestar members, and if you want your name shouted out at the end of every video and live stream, please consider joining on Patreon or Subscribestar. You also get access at other tiers to things like a bi-monthly podcast, bi-weekly, twice a month podcast that I do with John the Flick Pick Flickinger, which is a lot of fun. There's also a tier in which you can join me once a month for the Chosen of Valhalla live stream, where you all get to, at that level, join me for discussions, talk about any projects that you might be working on, or just hang out and have a good time. It's a lot of fun. And also, too, for many of those levels, you also get access to a giveaway section on the Discord server, where you get access to giveaways of things like 4K movies, digital codes, and tons of other stuff like that. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, check out the links in the description and sign up over on Patreon and Subscribestar. You guys are all amazing and beautiful people. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, God bless.